Hi, Tammy.
How you doing, Donna?
I'm wonderful. Thank you. I'm gonna moderate the class today. There we go.
Fantastic. That's wonderful.
Well, I guess we'll see after I do it.
Your hair looks beautiful, Donna.
Oh, thank you, Miss Janice. How are you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Busy.
Busy. That's a good thing,
Job security is always a wonderful thing.
isn't it? Yep, it is.
And lately it's been quite busy, which is a good thing.
That is a good thing. That means agents are writing deals.
Agents are writing deals. I'm putting out fires and, a number of other things. So,
Nice.
yeah, well, keep my job. There you go. Everybody comes up. Today is interesting because we've got you and we have our lender, Patrick. And then they get to ask me a lot of questions and I'll tell you what I'm
Nice.
seeing and it'll be a lot of fun. I've seen quite a few things that are very interesting lately. So,
Nice.
yeah, I'm
Do
sure.
you mind if I sit in and listen? I might learn something.
Sure, we absolutely can listen
Okay.
in.
I say, I
We'd rather
promise I
have
will
you
only
teach
take
us
like,
something, Janice.
I'm sorry.
We'd rather have you teach us something.
She
Well, I'm gonna
will.
teach
She's going to tell you about homework.
I am going to tell you about homework.
Sweet.
Yeah.
So we'll
And it was
wait.
good to see you over here the other time for the Damien's class.
Yeah, and it still doesn't make any sense to me, but okay.
Yeah, I know I know.
What class were you in, Ricky?
The contracts class.
The update class.
Yes.
So Donna, I have a question for you. What's the difference between the new loan availability terms and the other one?
Well, first of all, you have loan application. The next one down is loan terms and conditions. And the third one is loan availability.
What's the
So-
difference between the two?
Yeah, the loan term is where you want to put in a 3 to 5 or 7 days, that no more than 7, okay? Which means your buyer has agreed to the terms and conditions that the lender has given you. If you go past that date, what happens is that when you get closer to your loan availability date and the buyer says, I don't really like those terms, they could lose their earnest money. So what's happening, and the reason that was put in was the fact that we had many buyers who bailed as they got closer to closing because they decided they didn't like it. Okay. So now because of they've tightened that up and they can't say, well, I don't like it anymore, or they'll lose your earnest money. If that loan's available on the loan availability date, they don't get their earnest money back. After that 3 to 5 or 3 to 7 days, basically that is not the out for them anymore. Does that make sense?
Yep.
Okay.
So you would do the loan terms 3 to 5 days out and loan availability 5 to 7 days out.
No, the loan availability is about a week before closing.
Okay, week before. Okay.
Think of it in terms of the loan termination date.
Okay.
Okay,
Perfect. Yep.
but it's not, the way the paragraph reads, it's not quite like that anymore. It's if that loan is not available, according to whatever they signed in that window of 3 to 5 days on terms and conditions, then they can get out on the contract.
Okay.
However, if that loan is available, then they have to continue on.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yep, that makes total sense. Thank you for that.
Yeah. Ricky doesn't agree with me on that.
No, it's not that I don't agree. It's that I think it 100% depends on if you're the listing agent or the buyer's agent.
That is true.
On the buyer's agent, I'm still writing them both for 28 days and it's working. Because
Well,
listing
then
agents
that
don't
means
understand what's
you've
going
got,
on.
that means you have stupid agents on the other side.
Yes, 100%. And
All
if they
right.
accept it as written, then I know at least who I'm working with.
So what does that tell you? That tells you that they do not read the contract.
It tells you that they didn't stalk Janice and take the same update class that Ricky did.
There you go. Were there a lot in Damien's class? There were, because I've taken it twice from him. And there were a lot of questions on that particular one. And I'll go through some others in a minute, but let's see, we'll wait a minute or two to see if we grab any more and
Hey,
we'll go
Donna,
through.
are you gonna
Yes.
talk about making sure that we have the right appraisal gap verbiage in a contract now?
That would be a wonderful question to ask. And could you please ask that in after we get Janice and Patrick on here? Since Janice is here first, give it another minute or two, Janice. They're all on realtors time, so.
Okay, I get it.
Yeah, you know, they give it a shot and, yes, and Ricky asked me that question again because I am having, many calls on that particular issue. Not only you, many others. So, yeah. All right, we'll give it in about another minute, Janet, and then you're gonna be on first because Patrick isn't here yet.
Okay, and then when it's my turn, could you share your screen so I can share something?
I'll do
Or
my
allow me to
best.
share my screen?
I will do my best to do that. So hold on. All right, you go first. So let me see. Multiple, okay, I think you can share now.
Can I share?
This is Janet Shuttler from DTC, and she is going to talk to us about Homeward and what
Yes.
that is.
And
Oh.
it's gonna be super quick, you guys. I'm not gonna take a lot of time. I just wanna hear, can you guys see my screen?
Yes,
Okay, this is the only slide I'm gonna use. Okay, so the reason why I'm here, and thank you for letting me be here, is for those of you who don't know me, I've been in real estate for about 12 years. And this is no doubt the craziest market I've ever seen in 12 years. I mean, when you think about it, multiple offers, appraisal waivers, little or no due diligence. And I think it would make sense. Are you guys experiencing the same thing where you have to write a ton of offers to get your people under contract?
yeah, I'm telling all our agents, Janet, just so you know, that if there are home buyers between, say, 3 and 5, you're looking at about 25 to 30 offers before you'll get one accepted. And
Yes,
if they get done, you know, they get one sooner, then so be it, okay? But
Yes.
it is, it's difficult because of that sweet spot.
yes. So here's the deal, you guys. I think you would agree that as real estate agents, you need a unique financial solution to better serve your clients. And that's exactly why I'm here to talk to you, because I'm with Homeward. I'm with Keller Williams, but I'm also with Homeward. And Homeward, simply put, is the best financial solution out there. We're a company built by agents for agents. So we're never going to market to your database, steal your agents, and then sell them back to you. We have two products. We've got buy before you sell, and we have buy with cash. Buy before you sell is exactly what it sounds like. It allows your client to take control of the buying process by allowing them to go find their dream home and secure it first with our cash before having to list their existing home. So they get to use our money to be an all cash offer, no appraisal contingency, no financing contingency, no home sale contingency. So we actually secure that property, we close on it, then your client gets to move in. Then you, as their favorite agent, get to list and sell their existing home. When that home sells, your client will buy the new home back from Homeward. Our other product is called Buy with Cash. This is for clients that don't have a home to sell. So again, they use our cash to be an all cash, non-contingent offer. And we know in this market, cash is king. In fact, statistically, cash offers are 4 times more likely to win over financed offers. So with Homeward, you win more offers and you get to turn all of your contingent shoppers into confident cash buyers. So the other thing about Homeward is it's an amazing lead generation tool. So if you want listings or more listings, you want to use Homeward. If you want to get more referrals and have all of your friends and family tell everyone what a superstar agent you are because you brought them the solution, use Homeward. And if you want to win and leverage your time and win deals the first time, as opposed to the
In
fifth,
the
sixth,
second
seventh time,
drawer of the.
Somebody mute.
File cabinet, okay.
Yeah.
Yep,
So if you think of it.
then you want to use Homeward. So
awesome.
we have,
All right,
oops,
I'll be in touch with you, Nancy.
hey Maggie.
Thank you.
Thank you, Megan.
Okay.
Sorry.
Right. No, that's okay. So here's the deal. We want to help you leverage your time by allowing you to win offers the first time. We have actually kicked off a partnership with your market center. So Homeward is now a partner with your market center, and we want to get you into action using Homeward. So I will be at your market center tomorrow at 10 a.m. You can either Zoom in or you can come in live. I know there's going to be snow tomorrow. So if you don't want to drive to the office, we could do a Zoom, but I'm also going to be at your market center because we want to teach you how to get into action using Homeward so that you can win deals the first time and better serve your clients. So what I have on the screen, because I know tomorrow's going to be a crappy day, what I have on the screen is a QR code. So if you guys could just take out your phones, scan that QR code. It's going to allow you to set up your agent dashboard with Homeward, which is going to unleash a bunch of marketing assets for you. So take your phones out and go ahead and scan that QR code. And then tomorrow, I'm going to teach you more about how to use Homeward, how to embed it into your business to get more business, how to better serve your clients. And I'm also going to teach you why you want that dashboard, because there's so many, there's scripts, there's marketing materials, and when you set up your dashboard, you get your very, very own Homeward advisor who is going to be your go-to person for everything Homeward. So it's super easy. When you're doing the dashboard, it's going to ask for MLS. So you'll do the drop-down box and pull out RE Colorado. And then it's going to ask for your MLS ID. So whatever your login is, then you want to go ahead and put that login.
Hey, does
Then the
anybody
last-
know my agent number? I have no clue.
It's your login for your MLS.
It's your login.
Wait,
to the
Janice, you don't
MLS.
know me very well, do you? I have no idea.
It's called Write It Down, Ricky.
There's also something on your computer. It's called Manage Passwords. So it might be in there too, but
This
You
is the
def-
exact reason that Nikki Brockup is in my life.
I know
Well,
your code,
email
Ricky.
Nikki. Email Nikki and ask her what your password is.
I was kidding. This is one that I actually know. I know
Okay,
three, and
good.
this is one of them.
yeah, you definitely want to set up your dashboards, you guys. So tomorrow when we're in class, we won't have to go through that step, but I want to get you started now so that you can start taking advantage of this. And then we'll go through everything tomorrow. It's only a 30-minute class tomorrow, unless you guys have a lot of questions. And just so you know, this program was created by Tim Heil, who's one of the top real estate agents in the Keller Williams system. He launched the Heil Group, which is an expansion team, and I helped him launch that here in Denver. So do you guys have any questions as you set up your dashboards?
Dennis, I got a quick one. In this process, how does it affect who the lender is? Do our buyers still like they'll still have the same lender when they buy the home back from Homeward, right?
They can use whatever lender they want, or they can use Homeward. We don't require them to use Homeward Mortgage. We are a mortgage company, but we'll go through all of that tomorrow. So hopefully you'll zoom in. I would love to see all your smiling faces tomorrow, either in person or on Zoom. And like I said, I will be in your market center tomorrow. I don't care how much snow we get. I will be there tomorrow.
Well, you drive carefully when you come.
I will.
Make sure.
Any questions for me? Because I'm going to turn it back over to Donna. Do you guys get your dashboard done?
Everybody got that? Or do they need a few more minutes?
Do you need a
Unmute
few more minutes,
yourself.
you guys? The last step is you have to go back to your email and verify your email, or your dashboard won't set up.
Make sure if everybody's got their setup. Any questions for Janice?
I do have one. Is
Okay,
there a dollar limit on the home that they're looking to sell? That there's like a cap?
Nope. And I'll tell you this all tomorrow, we can go up to $3 million. So if they want to purchase something, we could purchase all the way up to $3 million.
Okay. And if they're selling something, could you do the buy sell? I guess that doesn't matter, right? That's just
Right.
about what they're purchasing. Are you guys in Florida?
We are actually in the process of going to Florida right now. We'll be there probably in the next month or two.
Okay.
We're currently working on Florida. We're also moving to California, Washington, Oregon. We're moving. We're already in Texas, Georgia, and Arizona.
Okay. In my pocket. You got it.
Nice. Did you get your dashboard?
I went through your certification program already.
But did you set up a dashboard?
Yeah, I have the
Okay.
dashboard all set up. I get the materials and stuff in my emails. I just haven't used it yet.
Okay,
So,
well, hopefully I'll see you on Zoom tomorrow.
yeah, I'm gonna try that.
Did
Thank you.
everyone else get their dashboard set up?
No, it
Awesome.
just keeps cycling me through and saying, go verify through your email. And I do that. It takes me to the login. I hit enter and it cycles me back.
Right, that means you're done. If it takes you back to, yeah, you're done then. Perfect. All right, Donna, I'm turning it back over to you. Can I hang and listen?
Sure, absolutely, absolutely. I don't know, Patrick is here, but I don't know exactly why he's not logged in, but if he pops in the meantime, we will put him in. Can you,
Oh, unshare?
yes, please?
Absolutely. Sorry about that.
Oh, no problem.
How do I unshare?
Hang on, let me go back here.
Oh, here we go. Stop share.
Okay,
There you go.
all righty. Let's see. Okay. All righty. So what we're going to do now, Patrick, for some reason, is here in the office, but he didn't jump in, so I'm not real sure why, but he's with Cross Country Mortgage now. And so if you have any questions or concerns or anything of that nature, listen, he's in the middle of saving somebody's deal right this minute because the other lender, Ricky knows what I'm talking about, the other lender basically just screwed up. And I would encourage you to use Patrick. I have used him for 2 refis on my house, 2 on my daughter's, a purchase on my daughter's. So please, it would be to your best interest if you could absolutely use him. So now what I'm going to do is open it up for questions because this is the broker question sales meeting. And Ricky came up with a good one. Ricky, can you ask your question again, please?
Sure. Did you talk about how important it is to have super clarity when writing or receiving an appraisal gap clause and why it's important and how it protects your client, regardless of which side you're on?
Well, let me start out with that Damien has it's a lengthy one, I'll give you that. A lengthy clause, and you can get it in CTME. You can go into your Gmail, go over to your 6 dots, click on that, click on Drive, type in the word resources, and it'll pop up underneath that Park Metals resources. And when you open it up, it's going to have, you can see different things. And one of those items is going to be Damien's clauses. You could go into contracts class, click on it, and also you can see Damien's clauses in there. When you do that, pick out Damien's clause for the appraisal gap. I am not a fan of appraisal gaps, okay? You should go in with your highest and best. Don't always go to the super high level because you might have to adjust accordingly, but give the other agent your highest and best. What's happening is, and we've had this happen several times, where a buyer will put a gap clause in, and let's say it's $20,000 to the gap, which means buyer and seller have agreed upon a price of say $450, and the appraisal comes in at $425. Now the gap at this point is 20 grand. So you're $5,000 short of whatever you've agreed upon. The gap is not written to say, hey, listen, if it doesn't hit, I'll pay up to whatever the difference is. So what happens on the first scenario is buyer says, hey, I don't have the $20,000, I'm going to terminate. Your job as a listing agent is to call the lender before the seller accepts that offer to find out, can they bring the 20,000? Do they have cash $20,000? Can they do it? And if you don't, then you aren't doing your due diligence, guys. You are definitely creating a problem for your seller. The next scenario that I'm running into is that as a receiving agent I get an offer in and it'll say, I'm trying to think, I got one yesterday and it says hang on just a minute, let me look it up. But here, the agents on the other side are just writing crap in that we are, they're saying something like this. It's not very clear. Clear to one side, but not clear to the other. This is a clause in a contract. Buyer will cover the difference of $20,000 appraisal gap in the event that the appraisal comes in below the agreed upon selling price. It's a $50,000 gap in this issue. What do they pay? In this case, it came in at $550. The agreed upon price was $615. So the way this is written, it states that it is going to be $570 is the max the buyer is going to pay. The seller doesn't have to agree to that, guys. If you read paragraph 6.2, I think 6.1 or 2, it'll tell you that, hey, if you can't agree, the contract's all of a sudden void. You're done. So what are you seeing, Ricky, on your side?
Well, because I'm a little intimate with that situation, my question is this. Why are they now not under contract at a contract price of $570? The buyer and the seller agreed that the buyer would bring $20,000 if it failed, if it was short on appraisal. Right?
Okay, but go ahead.
So I'm just asking, to my way of thinking, they are now required to sell the house at $570.
That's correct. That is correct.
Right? Okay.
The buyers, yeah, because appraisal came in at $550.
Mhm.
The way this is written, it says, whatever the appraisal is, I'll pay $20,000 over to that. And what they're thinking is it's going to be I'll pay the 20,000 and it'll come up to $615. That's not the way this is written, guys.
No, that's a terrible clause.
It's a terrible clause. As a listing agent, please read what you have there. If you have to counter. It needs to say, if the appraisal is largely short, the buyer agrees to pay the difference up to $615. And so what the seller wanted, so it would have been a 50,000, let's just say, I don't know, about $50,000 for the sake of discussion. But the difference could have been $515 or $550 up to $615. That's not the way this is written. If you want to state that that's what you want, the buyers are agreeing to pay for, fine. If you accept something and you are accepting the way this is written, if it comes in super low, the max they're going to pay is up to $20,000 more. So there could be a gap of 30, 40,000 there. And we know the sellers aren't going to take that. So be careful how you write these. Look for Damien's clause, and it is a long one. I will kid you not. However, having said that, it covers almost every situation in that clause. So if you haven't read it, read it. Now you're going to get somebody on the other side that doesn't like the way it's written, and they're going to try to be an attorney and do legalese. Be cautious of that. What else are you seeing, Ricky? I know you and I both see some of the same things.
Well, you know, I'm all about the contracts. The next thing I would ask about is along the same lines, escalation clauses and making sure that while I believe escalation clauses is the spawn of the devil,
Yes.
they're very, very popular amongst certain brokerages and stuff. So would you just kind of talk about what those should look like and how we should write them if we choose to do them?
There is a clause also from Damien on an escalation clause, okay? What I would encourage you to do is do your comps. Make sure whatever you're offering is a fair price. And you need to counsel your buyers as to, you may have to go up to a certain point. So you have to state it, be sure to look at Damien's clauses. But again, if you're gonna make this as an increase, I'll go up to $10,000 over the highest bid that the seller has received up to a certain number. So in other words, if your client bid 500,000 and the seller received, and you need to require proof of that, by the way, which somebody can give you, paragraph 4, not the first part of the contract, but the second part. So you can see the date on it to make sure it's first and second page, to make sure it's legit. And you've already agreed that you'll go 5,000 or 2,000 or 10,000 or whatever the number is over the highest bid. But be careful with that, because you might be locking your buyers into something they can't afford. So if the max they can do is 550, I would say if the property is listed at 500, go to 525, and then you have a little give room here to go to a higher number if needed. So you have to do some homework as a listing agent to make sure that your buyers are understanding what happens. So your job as a buyer's agent and or a listing agent is to understand how to counter that, or how to explain to your buyer what that means, what that gap means. What else are you seeing, Ricky? Did I answer the question the way you would like? Ricky?
Absolutely. I think the last thing that I'm seeing is, and for the most part, this is with some of the newer agents. We learn and we train how to fill out a contract, how to fill out an offer, right? We learn where to put check boxes, where to put phrases, where to put clauses. We start to get an idea of what dates and deadlines to look at. But I would urge you, read the contract. Figure out what it's in. In that situation that we were talking about with the appraisal issue, yes, if they don't come to a written agreement by the appraisal resolution, the deal is dead. It terminates. However, that is contingent upon the buyer actually sending an appraisal objection because of the verbiage in the contract. So I just urge everybody, read the contract, ask Donna questions, make sure you understand what the verbiage in the contract is. That will do two things. It will allow you to understand it more. And then when something comes up and you got to call Donna and her first response is, well, what's in the contract, right? It'll be easier to understand. So just read it.
Yeah, I will encourage you to take more than one contracts class. And I would encourage you to take 2 or 3 from different people, from me, from whoever. I actually am going to teach contracts class. I think it's probably going to be in August, which is a long way away, but I think it'll be in August, May or August, I don't remember, at Spedra, and it'll be free because most of our agents belong to Spedra. But bottom line is that is the first question I'm going to ask you. And your job and your professionalism is to know what that contract says. If you don't, then are you really doing your job? And the answer is no, you're not. Okay. Anything else you're seeing? And then we'll see if anybody else has a question.
Well, Patrick's here, just so.
I know. Let's let Patrick jump in. Patrick, go ahead.
Going on?
Well, there you are. Tell us about your new company.
Cross Country Mortgage. Nothing really changes except I have more control. And since I'm a control freak, that's really good.
Aren't we all?
Yeah. But we do have, I think what's working for us right now is our fast track program. We got 9 contracts this weekend. So we got 9 buyers under contract. In fact, I got one more yesterday. And it's a 10-day close. We do an earnest money guarantee, which when we talk to the listing agent, we can also call it a seller guarantee. It's a $10,000 guarantee that will get the loan done. The key to it is we have to have the client early. And when I say early, right now, depending on the client, it could be 1 to 2 weeks. So the reason is what the program is, and I know there's some newer people, there's like 3 levels of getting pre-approved. One's called a pre-qualification. A pre-qualification is good as the paper it's written on, meaning there is something that is not verified. So it's a pre-qual. And a lot of times a pre-qualification, we will send a pre-qualification when we aren't 100% confident. And it's based on what the client told us. So the client might say, oh, I make $10,000 a month. And then we would do a pre-qual saying, well, based on what you've told us, you qualify, but we haven't verified everything. Okay. A pre-approval is we feel comfortable as the loan officer because we've gathered all the documentation we need, but it hasn't gone to an actual underwriter. Now, I've been doing this 20 years, so if I issue a pre-approval, it's pretty dang good. But when they go under contract, it still has to get to an underwriter who is the person that says yes or no. Okay. So with the fast track program, we actually send it to the underwriter. So I'll pre-approve them. And then I send it to an actual underwriter who looks at their income, assets, credit, and says whether it's good or not. When we get fast track approval, it's essentially having clear to close before they're under contract. So that's how we're able to do the 10-day close and the earnest money guarantee. Okay. A couple stats I heard yesterday, and this is more of a sales tactic. I've been talking to a lot of people, and our closings down. We're down, yes, or year to date. In February, overall closings were down 20 to 30%, meaning there's less business out there. Okay, so I'm hearing a lot of people saying, hey, I'm feeling a little slow. So here's a stat that Ricky knows this because he came to the event yesterday. I think it was 42% of homeowners in the United States are over 55. So the reason I think that stat's important is that means 42% of people are homeowners are probably considering downsizing soon. Okay. So a couple things to think about. If you're doing any farming, social media, mailers, talking about, how to downsize, 5 tips on downsizing, just talking about downsizing, selling your home and buying a, condo, townhome, maybe even moving out of state. I'm seeing a lot of people move out of state, is a great topic and a great way to find business. So if you're doing like farming, mailers, social media, you could talk about, are you considering downsizing? Okay. 42% are over 55. I thought that was pretty crazy. Okay. The other stat I heard is this market isn't really going to end for 3 to 5 years, that we're going to be in this for a while. Okay. And the reason is because of 2009, 2008, 2009, when the market crashed, home builders stopped building. Actually worked for a national home builder, Pulte Homes, during that time. And they literally stopped buying land, stopped building. They sold land. They would not build a spec home. So we had probably 5, 6 years of home builders putting a pause. Okay. Now they're all trying to build as fast as they can, but we have supply chain issues and they can't build fast enough and you're a year out plus.
They're not the brightest kids on the block when it comes to this.
No, they're very reactionary, like
Yeah.
reaction. So they're reacting right now. But the reason the crash in 2009 was due to poor financial practices.
Correct.
Right now, I mean, we verify everything. So it's not going to crash because of poor lending practices. The reason the market's so hot is there's just not enough housing in both rental and purchase. There's just not enough housing. So you know, I hate this saying, but we don't all have a crystal ball, but forecasting is 3 to 5 years we could be in this challenging market. And then the other thing I liked from the class yesterday was we know it's going to be challenging, but there's business out there. So you have to have your mindset right. Do you have a mindset of abundance or a mindset of scarcity? And right now people have a mindset, most real estate agents and lenders have a mindset of scarcity. But the great thing about this business is we can make it whatever we want it. So if you have a mindset of abundance and get out there and door knock and make phone calls and talk to people 55 years and older about downsizing or moving out of state, if you do the activities, there is plenty of business out there.
Yeah.
I don't think people are sitting on their homes not selling because they're scared to sell. So if you can overcome that and be the professional and show them how to sell, the thing they kept saying is create your own inventory.
Yes.
So that was a good takeaway from the class yesterday. I do plan on having someone in the office at least 3 days a week, starting next month. Her name is Gail. She's a loan officer on my team. She's awesome. And then that way there will always be someone here that you can pop over and, you know, ask a random loan question too. So that's kind of my update.
What
I
are
think-
interest rates, Patrick, right now?
About 4.25.
Okay.
Okay. If I had someone under contract on a new build or under contract at all, I would lock them immediately.
Yes.
So at Guild, we could do a 180-day lock. At Cross Country, we can do a 360-day, a 5-day lock, so a 1-year lock. And the reason I would suggest that is as soon as we get good news out of Ukraine, which we got like okay news today.
And the
which was
market
just-
popped up. Go figure.
Yeah, as soon as, and that was just that OPEC working together to solve the oil.
Yes.
That's the only good news we got, and the market skyrocketed, and so did rates.
Yes.
Rates skyrocketed yesterday too.
Yes.
So when we get good news out of Ukraine, mortgage rates are going to skyrocket. And I'm talking, we could see like mid to high 4s in a day or two.
Right. You also get a bump when the feds do a rate increase. And the
Yeah.
rate increase will either be 25 basis points or 50 basis points, whoever, depending on which camp you're in, okay? But
Yeah.
they're gonna do one in March. When, I don't know, but that will bump our interest rates up also. So that would
Everything.
be- Yeah, that would give everybody an ability to make a phone call. Have you refied? Have you looked at this or that? Whatever you're looking at, this is the time to make those phone calls. Call Patrick if they're thinking about moving too.
Yeah, everything is pointing towards higher rates and higher prices.
Correct.
So when you're talking to someone and they're like, oh, I'm, you know what? I think I'm just going to wait a year. You want to talk to them about, hey, economists think it's 3 to 5 years before we even see a flattening in the home values. And the reason is, and then just explain, it's about educating. Back in 2009, the market, it's a problem with supply and demand. There's just not enough places to live. Back in 2009, builders stopped building for years When the housing market started picking up, then they started building again, but it's going to take them 3 to 5 years to build enough houses. So just talk about that stuff, because I know a lot of people, a lot of buyers are scared, a lot of sellers are scared, but
You have, and I'm gonna interrupt a second.
yeah,
Agents, you have to work with the market you've got, and you have to learn what kind of language that you use to talk to a buyer and seller. And Patrick just gave you some information to talk about to a buyer and seller. So start making phone calls on that. Anything else, Patrick?
I think that's it for rates. I mean, I do a lot of coaching and sales coaching and stuff like that. So I think this market is whatever you make it. And there's plenty of business out there. Go make your own inventory. You can make it happen. And that's the great thing about this industry. So
I have a question.
Anybody got a question for Patrick? Because then we'll move on.
I do. This is
Go,
Jack.
Jacqueline.
So I'm working on doing some farming and doing some postcards and sending them out. One of them I was gonna do was, do you know how much your house is worth? I do. So I like how you just said the 5 tips of downsizing, because basically everybody I meet, I've been giving them a card and letting them know that I'm an agent. I just got hit in a parking lot, and that lady was so nice and told me that she hit my car and everything. We exchanged everything. I handed her a card. She called me yesterday and told me if I think about selling my house, which I might, she goes, I'm gonna call you back. So
Yep.
I'm just trying to
That's
get.
a tough way to get business, Jacqueline.
Yeah, I'm not sure I could afford that kind of lead gen.
I won't report you to insurance if you sell your house.
So
All right, I want to give kudos to Patrick. He is saving a deal for one of our agents right now. And I want to thank you, Patrick, for doing that for him.
Thank you. Yeah, if you guys have deals that are going sideways, let me know. A lot of times people will call me with a deal going sideways, and I will tell them, hey, you're better off with the current lender. Just do X, Y, Z.
Right.
Right. So I can help you even if it's not me working on the loan.
Okay, who's got a
Donna,
question? Go for
I would
Patrick.
just add this, when Patrick is sponsoring an event like the class yesterday, if you can at all get to it, get to it. Patrick's not sponsoring, Cross Country Mortgage is not sponsoring just whoever, whatever. Like if they are sponsoring something, especially if it's free and there's a happy hour at a really cool bar downtown afterwards, honestly, you should go to it. I learned, it was a nice refresher and I learned some stuff
Yeah.
yesterday. So if they're
And on that
sponsoring-
note, we have happy hour tomorrow at 4 p.m. at Ocean Prime. If you want to come and meet the team and say hi and have some good apples and a drink on me, come on by.
I'd love to, but I got another cocktail party to go to.
Whatever, Donna. Cancel.
I'm just a busy beaver. What can I tell you? All righty, let's get back to what we were discussing. What agent has another question for me?
I got to run, guys.
Bye. Thanks, Patrick.
Thanks.
Who has?
I have a contract question, Donna.
Yes, ma'am.
If you have a seller who is coming soon, who is thinking about listing soon, they want to have you talk about it within Keller Williams, do they have to have certain language on the contract?
Well, it's going to be a problem. Well, let me, I don't recommend that because somebody could accuse you of not doing clear cooperation. And
Mhm.
there's $1,500 is the first time, $2,500 is the second, third time they shut the office down.
Yeah.
So you could say coming soon, however, you cannot let anybody into that listing.
Right. So and I've been following this because it really started this summer that I got my first listing, and the first listing was a debacle. I don't remember if you remember that, but
I get many of them. No, I don't
Yeah,
remember
lots of
that one.
so it's left a mark on me a little bit because it
does.
always makes me slow down and think about it. And good,
Yes.
there wasn't any issues, but we really had to talk through how to navigate it. And it feels like a lot of the rule has changed and it's become a lot more clear that you can market, you just can't let anybody in the house.
That is correct. That is
Okay.
correct.
That's
If
what I
you
needed to know.
If you let one agent in the house, then you have to put it on as active and let everybody in.
Yeah, okay.
So Donna, how does that work then when we're seeing a fair amount of off-market sales going on?
They aren't putting it into the MLS yet.
And that's legal?
Well, I would rather not have you guys do that, but I do see it happening. I can't control everybody, so I'd rather you didn't do it that way, because honestly, is that the best interest of the seller if you don't let lots of people in? Are you really getting the best price for that seller if you only let party A in and they bring an offer and the seller accepts? Did that seller get the best offer? And I'm not sure they did.
I can make an argument that it's not always about the money, and so therefore it is the best offer. I don't know if I
Well,
win that or
but
not.
who-
I can
wait a
make that
minute.
argument.
Who says it's not about the money? Is it the agent or is it the seller?
Well, in this case scenario, it would have to be the seller.
It would have to
And
be
you
the
better
seller, and
be
you are
putting in writing
absolutely
all
correct.
those things.
And I don't disagree with that scenario. I'm just telling you to be very cautious on how you approach this situation, okay? It could create other problems that you don't really want to face. Let me address a couple of other issues here that I see. Now, not too many of our agents do this. I would never suggest that you waive your inspection or your inspection. Even if you have cash, always do an inspection and put your inspection termination and your inspection objection are always the same dates. They changed everything. Even though you pay cash for something, do an inspection. So if you go in thinking you're only going to have 2 or 3 items wrong and you come out with 25 and they want to expire, they want to terminate, that's fine. Even if it's cash, that's what you should do. If
Donna?
it's, yes,
Are you okay if we waive inspection objection and inspection resolution, but we keep in an inspection termination? So that
yes,
at
you
least
can do that.
We can do
Yeah.
that, right? Like, that's cool.
Yeah,
So the buyer
that's
at least
fine.
reserves the right to just back out.
Absolutely, absolutely. Yep, that's exactly right. You can do that. And I'd rather see you do that than just say waive everything. They can go ahead and do their inspection and just put your termination date in and no objection and no resolution date, okay? That is great. It protects the buyer, whether it's cash or a loan, it protects them. And I don't want the AG is the legal system for the government, is going through and calling agents and calling buyers and saying, hey, who suggested to waive your appraisal? Who suggested to waive your inspection? And you know what they're going to say? Oh, my agent said to do that. And you're going to get brought into a class action suit, guys. Do not do this. And also, I would never waive the appraisal. Now, if it's cash and somebody wants to waive the appraisal, that's on the buyer. And I want you to get documentation saying that the buyer decided not to have an appraisal, guys. I want it in an email, fine. I don't care how you get it, but make sure you get something that dictates that the buyer has said, I'm not going to do it. I want it in writing, because if you have to go before a judge, you have got to prove your position. It's very difficult if you are not doing it properly. Okay, who else has a question? Gwen, what are you saying?
Nothing that y'all haven't talked about. I am kind of surprised that you seem to be indicating that people aren't using Damien's clauses. My Alabama verbiage doesn't sound anything like it's supposed to be. So I always use his things.
I know, but you're also one that follows the rules, and I have some that don't. And what I'm saying is that if you're not using those clauses and you haven't read those clauses, do so and don't make excuses. Make sure that you look at those clauses, okay? It's very, very important. Who else has a
I
question?
agree.
Ricky, what else are you seeing?
Two things. Number one, I love Damien's clauses. Do you think we could reach out and ask him to change the word warning?
He's
in our-
probably not gonna do that. I know.
We get pushback a lot, like the agents will say, I don't mind the clause, but warning in all capital letters is super turn off to sellers.
Well,
Can you just say, I don't know, advice or be aware? Warning in caps is terrifying to sellers.
why don't you do this, and you can do it on my behalf? Email Damien and ask him to do that and
Okay.
CC me on it if you can.
Yep, I can do that. And number
And
two,
explain, wait a minute, explain to him why it's a problem. I
Yep.
also know what he's gonna answer, but let's see if he does.
I'm sure
She's
what he's
throwing
gonna
you
ask.
to the wolf.
The other question I have is, will you explain in the new contract and the dates and deadlines? The first one is time of day.
Yes,
So if you change time of day to 5:00 PM, again, read the contract and listen what Donna's gonna say to answer this. That does not change the time of day on every date and deadline. There are only a select few. So if you
It-
choose to change that to 5:00, some of your dates and deadlines are 5:00. Some cannot be changed and will still be 11:59.
if you read that paragraph, which I think is 3, it says when you change it, so if you change, let's say you say your time of day deadline is going to be 7:00 PM. That does not apply to anything as far as acceptance or your acceptance date, that does not change, okay? All the other dates are governed by that time frame. So the reason that date was put in, how many people have made mistakes on doing offers or counter offers at 11:00 at night? If you do, there you go, me too. If you do something that late, your buyers and or sellers are tired. They've had a glass of wine, maybe 2 or 3 glasses of wine. They are definitely not functioning. They're exhausted. The kids have pounded on them. All of those things have happened. So be sure, if you want to leave it to 11:59, that's fine, but that wasn't the purpose of it. So it means that your title has to be there by 8:00 at night. Your objections have to be there by 8:00 at night. Appraisals have to be done by 8:00 at night. All of those dates except acceptance are what plays into everything. If you have a question, then read paragraph 3, just above 4. That last particular paragraph will tell you what that date means. Anything else you have there, Ricky?
Yeah, if you're gonna write something in there, do not write 11:59 PM. It's a waste of time and it's redundant. If you read that paragraph, it says, if that's blank, then everything is 11:59.
Yes.
And in this market, I think it's really important to write really solid and great contracts. You don't have to be redundant with it.
And another thing that brings up on paragraph 10.2, please do not put into the additional provisions that the property is being sold as is, whereforth and whatever. It's on paragraph 10.2. That means that whoever counters you on that did not read the paragraphs and do not know what the contract says. I don't know every single paragraph. I remember a great many of them, but that one is the stupidest thing to be redundant because it already says that, which means to tell you the agent who countered you on that doesn't know crap about his contract or her contract. Very
To that
frustrating.
point, stop putting smoke detectors and carbon monoxide detectors in your inspection objections. It's the
Well,
law.
now let me back up. The smoke detectors may or may not be there, and the
Correct.
carbon monoxide detectors may not be there either. You can put those in there if they are not on the premises. But if you're a listing agent, please counsel your sellers to get those in. before you start showing your property. And I will tell you, an FHA and VA appraisers or in a conventional appraiser will walk out of the property if you don't have carbon monoxide detectors. It is a state law that those have to be within 15 feet of every sleeping area, bedrooms. So if you're listing, look for them. You don't want to have another trip charge of $150 to charge the buyer because your sellers didn't have this equipment in their house. Okay, we have time for a couple more. Anybody else got another one? There's silence. I can't believe there's silence. Okay, what I want you to do is if you have any questions, please don't hesitate. If you have questions on contracts, please call me. I cannot correct something after you do it. I can correct it or give you some guidance before you do it, but I can't do it afterwards. It's sometimes I can, but it's very rare. So I'd rather fight the battle before rather than fighting the battle after. Is
Yeah,
that?
real estate contracts are not really designed to ask for forgiveness rather than permission. Do it
They're
right
not.
up front. It's
No,
not marriage.
yes, it is. And it is something. The battles are hard enough as it is. Please don't make it more difficult on yourself by not performing correctly on a contract. Be sure you read your listing contracts. I have contracts class every Monday at 12 o'clock with very rare exceptions. You can look on the calendar. It's always there. If it's not there, that means that week I'm not doing it. Monday at 12. And even though you might be a seasoned agent and you think you know it all, you might want to drop in every once in a while because you'll learn a little bit. Okay, anybody else got another question? Ricky, you got anything else that you see?
No, I feel like I talk too much as it is.
Well, I think you and I see a little bit more, we see a little bit of different angle than a lot of the agents do. So I think whatever you and I see, I think it's good to get it out. Can I ask, we'd probably do this about once a quarter if you guys are okay, to make sure that everybody's on the same page. And because in a quarterly situation, lots of things can happen. In a quarter, things change because last year we didn't see as many escalation clauses. Now we see more because the inventory is shorter. So anytime you have a question on anything, let me know. And it's always fun to go over these and keep my brain sharp too. There you go. All right, guys, have a great day.
Thank you.
My pleasure.
Thanks,
Bye-bye.
Donna.
Thank you, Donna. Thank you, Ricky.
I love your questions, Ricky.
You're welcome. I'm full of them. I'm full of a lot of stuff.
Ricky and I
Thank you,
kind of
Donna.
we set this up so we could answer all your questions because he and I would always ask those questions. So there you go. Thanks, Ricky, for your help. I appreciate it. Bye-bye.